Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Bayverse of Madness, and welcome to the first ever review on this channel. And considering it's my first review, we are going to start and take a look at a simple figure, and that's the Studio Series The Last Knight WW2 Bumblebee. And this figure sadly is probably the weakest of the Studio Series movie line, but we'll obviously get into my full thoughts later on in the review. So if you guys are actually wondering why I'm starting with this figure first, considering it's obviously number 26 in the line, and that's just a mix and match between the Studio Series figures. Obviously there is a lot of them, and I will actually hopefully get to review them all further down the line, and I'm going to put them all in a playlist down below in order for you all to enjoy. You can find that in the description if you obviously want to go and check it out. Obviously this is the first review, hopefully we can start adding more to that playlist, and I will obviously put them in order like I've just said. Also, the reason I'm doing this is there actually might be a specific Studio Series figure that you guys want me to review. So if that's the case, then leave it down in the description down below and I will obviously get to it. But first of all, we are going to be taking a look at the World War II Bumblebee, and here is World War II Bumblebee's packaging. And for those who don't know, I do collect two versions of the Studio Series figures, and considering I am starting to review, this is actually coming in handy. So obviously I buy a sealed version and then I buy a loose one to obviously now review. So here is the sealed Studio Series The Last Knight World War II Bumblebee, as you will get him yourselves, and there he is. And I actually miss the old Transformers Studio Series boxes. Let me know if you prefer the new boxes or the old boxes. So let's get into it. There we have the classic Transformers logo. At the side we have the Generations logo. At the top he is World War II Bumblebee from the amazing logo, which is Transformers The Last Knight. There is Bumblebee sitting in the box with his accessories. There is a beautiful render of Bumblebee there, and he's obviously number 26. As we turn him around, here is the side of the box, and we get a closer image of that World War II Bumblebee there. He's obviously number 26 in the line. He's a deluxe class from the Studio Series line. As we turn him around again, we got an Autobot logo there obviously, and there is another render of Bumblebee, which is just the same one. Then we have the Transformers logo at the bottom there. At the top we get the Transformers The Last Knight in a bit of bigger writing. At the bottom we get the classic warning signs, and then at the back of the box there is the description for you, the line if you want to go and read it. Obviously every Studio Series has a biography of that certain figure. There is a beautiful render of World War II Bumblebee, and I actually would love to get him in that pose that they've put him on the back, but sadly my figure just keeps falling over, and obviously I will touch on this later on. There is this very inaccurate vehicle mode, which I will actually compare to the very accurate vehicle mode, which is that Toy World version. And then there is everything else, and obviously the box. So obviously it is a World War II flashback figure. Obviously it's a very, very cool concept that we saw in Transformers The Last Knight, which you will see the logo again at the top here. There is the other figures that you can get in the line. He transforms in obviously 25 steps, and that pretty much does it for the box. So everyone, here is World War II Bumblebee out of the packaging and on my review station, and as you can see he is a little bit bent over, and that's just because of the massive backpack that this figure has. This is probably the biggest flaw that this figure has, but in all honesty I don't think we can actually blame Hasbro, because obviously the Last Knight designs and the Age of Extinction designs were a lot more clean and didn't look like they could transform, and World War II Bumblebee was obviously a very, very cool concept, but yet again that robot mode just looked clean. Obviously the Toy World version is obviously very, very good, but obviously they can get away with a lot more things than Hasbro can. So yeah, I will obviously compare this figure to that later on as a quick comparison. But in terms of this figure, there are actually some saving qualities of this figure, and one of them, as we take a look at the details, is this amazing head sculpt for Bumblebee. And I actually do think if they used this head sculpt and repainted it for the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, obviously we saw that with the headless, the battle maskless head. Obviously for the Revenge of the Fallen one and the 2007 one we actually saw him with a battle mask, but the Dark of the Moon one decided to take us and give us the one with just his face. And in terms of that figure, I actually didn't like that much the face sculpt they used. I think this is the best head sculpt for Bumblebee that we've actually had, and I think if they just repainted it, I think it would look absolutely brilliant on that Dark of the Moon. But yeah, I might actually try that at some point off camera. So yeah, in terms of the details, obviously this looks absolutely amazing of an head sculpt. The eyes are painted in a nice blue. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can see, but there is an Autobot logo obviously painted on his forehead. We get some nice sculpted details for the mouth as well. And in terms of the robot mode details, obviously the Bayverse figures of the Studio Series line have some incredible detail going throughout them, and a lot in it, as you can see on this chest, you get the obviously classic vehicle bullet points kind of things here. And yeah, there's not much really going on with this figure. It's just a painted green figure, which is actually one of my negatives about this figure, and that's the fact it's green. And obviously if you watched the last night, you will know that World War II Bumblebee is kind of like a greyish colour, and yeah, and obviously they decided to paint this figure green for some reason, which is a bit weird. But that hot rod is probably a little bit better than this, probably in terms of accuracy, especially in the robot mode. I actually think that's pretty cool. I might actually bring him for a comparison later on, but yeah, and that's obviously the details throughout the figure. Let's have a look at the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint. There we go. You get some lovely movement with that head. The figures can obviously go like that and up and down. The figures can't, obviously the arms can't go back due to the backpack getting in the way. The arms obviously have bicep and some rotation there at the arms. The hands can't move, but they can move like that, but that's just for transformation purposes. There is a waist swivel on this guy, which is obviously a massive plus. So if you want to get him some nice poses like we saw at the back of the box, then obviously you can do so. And then in terms of the legs, they can obviously kick that far and obviously not kick back due to, yet again, the backpack blocking it, which is, I think, a bigger flaw of this figure. And I think this is why a lot of people actually hate this figure, is due to this massive backpack. But in terms of the legs, again, obviously they can do the full splits, which is pretty cool, and you get some nice leg movement as well. And then the figure does have a knee joint, so you can obviously mess around with it like so. So yeah, you can actually get this figure in a few good poses. In terms of the arms, if you're moving the arms, just be careful, because my figure has a tendency obviously to pop out of these slots, which is gets a little bit annoying. So yeah, in terms of obviously the details and the articulation, I think that's pretty much it. So if I can actually stand this figure up, if it doesn't there we go, if it doesn't fall over. In terms of the accessories are actually a very good aspect of this figure, and I actually am a big fan of the accessories that this comes with. So the first of two is this like barreled shotgun that he actually uses to take down the Nazis in that flashback scene, and it's painted in a nice kind of like a silvery colour, as you can see. And obviously the barrels are painted as well. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm actually recording this on my phone. I do apologise, but the handle is painted in some sort of a grey, which absolutely looks awesome. And then another fan favourite of mine, I love Bumblebee from the last night, and I love the accessory that he uses, especially more noticeably when he takes down Nemesis Prime, and that's actually the hammer that we see Bumblebee use. It would have been cool if we actually got to see it a little bit more, but yeah, here is that hammer. And yeah, again, this is just brilliant. As you can see, some lovely details are sculpted in this hammer like so. And in terms of plugging them on the World War II Bumblebee, I like to just plug the hammer into this hand, as we can get him situated here, into this hand like so. And then in terms of the gun, I like to plug it in like that. So there you can have World War II Bumblebee with his accessories, and in my opinion I think this is better with his accessories because he actually stands up, and I think that's due to the weight of the hammer obviously sitting forward. So yeah, the figure actually stands up a lot better with the accessories in hand, and this is obviously how I display my Bumblebee on my Studio Series shelf. In terms of comparisons, here we have the Hasbro version of the World War II Bumblebee on the right, and on the left here we have the Toy World The Last Night Green Hornet, or obviously World War II Bumblebee. And yeah, in terms of movie accuracy, the Toy World one wins without a doubt. That figure looks absolutely incredible, and the vehicle does look absolutely spectacular, which we'll obviously touch on later on. But yeah, in terms of more movie accuracy, the Toy World one wins without a doubt, but it depends on obviously if you're willing to pay the obviously aftermarket price of this figure. So yeah, that all depends on your personal preference, but if I was to recommend the figure, the Last Night Toy World one wins without a doubt. Here is World War II Bumblebee next to the Transformers The Last Night movie Bumblebee. The fun little comparison, here he is with the Last Night Voyager Hound. And then for the final comparison, here is World War II Bumblebee Studio Series version next to the Studio Series version of Hot Rod, which we did actually get later on down the line in the Studio Series, and I think they actually look pretty cool together. Now in terms of robot mode, that pretty much does it, and if you actually want to see a transformation on this guy, then I will leave that link down below in the description for you to enjoy that transformation if you are struggling with it yourselves. However, let's get him in to his vehicle mode. And here is World War II Bumblebee transformed into his very cool, but obviously very inaccurate vehicle mode. Obviously, if you watch Transformers The Last Night, in that flashback scene, he transforms into a World War I German Mercedes-Benz car, obviously to sneak into the German headquarters for a surprise attack, which I kind of like. Obviously, it brings back the whole aesthetic of robots in disguise. It would have been cool if that flashback scene was extended. However, in terms of this vehicle mode, it's pretty cool, but obviously very inaccurate to what we saw in the movie. That Toy World yet again version perfects a lot of it and actually looks very accurate, but as mentioned, they can get away with a lot more stuff than Hasbro can. But in terms of the details on this vehicle mode, there's actually not much going on, sadly. There is some silver here at the front, and that's pretty much it. The rest in it is just green, just a very darkish green colour all the way around. There is some nice bullet point things, obviously, to represent the oldness of the car. It's like an armoured car, innit? But yeah, in terms of obviously the details, there's just not much really going on for this vehicle mode. And in terms of accessories, obviously due to the transformation, if I just lift up this, you will see the hammer transforms into his like turret thing, and then obviously for the little blaster shotgun barrel thing that it comes with, this does peg on top of this. And to be honest, as I show you guys, this actually doesn't look too bad. Normally, in terms of vehicle mode storage, things do look pretty ridiculous, but I do actually think this looks pretty cool on Bumblebee. So that pretty much does it for the vehicle mode. Now let's get into some comparisons. And here is World War II Bumblebee Studio Series on the right, compared to that Toy World Bumblebee that I have been hyping up through this review. And just look how accurate that looks. It looks absolutely brilliant. This is what Bumblebee looked like in that World War II flashback, and it's quite crazy to actually compare the Studio Series version to this version. But yet again, if you are actually willing to pay that accurate aftermarket price, then obviously the Toy World one is for you. But if you're looking for a cheap, obviously fun version, then obviously the Hasbro one is one for you. Now, as a fun comparison, here is World War II Bumblebee compared to the Last Night Voyager Hound. Here is World War II Bumblebee compared to the Last Night movie version of Bumblebee. And for the final comparison, here is World War II Bumblebee next to his brother in arms, which is Hot Rod. And obviously this is both of their World War II versions, and although they are pretty inaccurate, even Hot Rod in terms of vehicle mode and robot mode, I think they do look pretty decent next to each other. And that does it for the first ever review on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed my review on the Last Night World War II Studio Series Bumblebee. Let me know in the comments down below what figure you want me to review next, and also what you actually think of the World War II Bumblebee Studio Series version. If you want to see just the transformation, then I will leave a link down below in the description for you to enjoy. Like and subscribe as always. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. But for now, as always, take care everyone.